Hey everyone, my name is Jeremiah Mayle, and welcome back to another video. We are playing Farming Simulator again, and today we do have a kind of big list. Of course, I'm pretty sure we won't be able to actually get through all of it, but I will at least try and get through the majority of it. And anything I don't do on camera will be done off camera. So, for example, harvest crop. Well, we're doing that currently. We have the two fields being done right now. Explore map, which we'll go ahead and do as we're working other people's fields. Chop trees by field 19, the one we're by right now. I actually chopped those before recording. Now all I have to do is, chop those trees up into actual, small bits I can fit into my tipper. So I'll go ahead and do some of that on camera, but I don't want to be doing a whole lot of that because that does eventually get old, and I really don't talk in that, during that time, because there's not much really to talk about. I mean, maybe if I talk about something important to the channel, or something I'm doing, then I might record a little bit of me chopping a tree and stuff into pieces, but I really don't have much of a purpose to show you me cutting up the tree and putting it into the tipper. But I do want to say, if you're wondering how much money I am getting from each tree, I'm only getting about $5,000 to $6,000 per tree, which isn't even that bad, but let's say it takes me 25 minutes, right, to cut down a tree and get it into pieces and get it transported, then, that $5,000 really doesn't seem like it's worth it anymore. Really, nothing against cutting down trees. If you want to do that, be my guest. But for the tree types that we have, it's a lot harder to do tree farming. So I'm only going to be doing as much tree farming, or as much tree chopping and tree removing as I need. I'm not going to go overboard with it and do the surrounding area, just because then it starts to become too much work and impractical. See, I'm cutting down the trees near the fields so I can expand out my fields, which I really, really want to do. Because, kind of like how I did with these two fields. Let me go over here. Like how I did with these two fields, how I combined it. And how I did with this one. I cut a tree down right here so I could expand my field. And speaking of, let me go ahead and get into, I think it's this vehicle? Yes, great. Alright, let's see where we are, because I honestly don't know. Oh, okay, I think I know where we are. Alright. Let me go ahead and drive up to field 26. I want to show you what I did. Because between the videos, I did a lot of tree chopping, and I did a lot of, selling. And don't worry, I have crop destruction off. Okay, so I did this right here. I wish it was a bit brighter out. Actually, here, let me go ahead and speed up timer real fast, so it can get just a bit more brighter. But as you can see, all the trees are removed, and I actually did use the landscaping tool, and I used the painting tool, and I basically just changed the all the bushes and stuff that were there that were making it hard for me to see the trees and stuff and all the branches. I basically just got rid of it by using the painting tool, because if you're, let's say, using the painting tool, it doesn't matter if there's a tree there or a building there. I think as long as it's not road, it doesn't matter to the game, and as long as it's not intruding on someone else's territory. See, like, if I wanted to, since there's a tree right here, I could paint this area, and of course, since it's not modifying the terrain, it's only modifying, the grass or the ground look or the ground type. Obviously, it just don't matter. I could make it look ugly and put cement, and you're wondering, how's the tree growing through the cement? Well, obviously, I guess that's the one downside, is I could purposely put down cement and make it look like a tree just grew from cement or something, or or I could have my house look like as if my floor is made of dirt or something. Anyway, kind of unrelated, uh, but I just wanted to show you that, or I wanted to show you what I was doing over here, and that's why all the bushes are gone. So if you come over here, I think this tree is the furthest tree, and I think all I have to do is cut this one tree down, and I don't even think I have to cut this one down. I might just to be safe, but I think right here, where my guy is standing, is where my limit is on growing this field. If I just continue going straight, if I continue going straight here, then ending it here, then that would extend out the field. Not drastically, but it would be a lot more than what the field is currently. More field, more yield. I guess that is my farming motto. Um, and as you can see, our new crops are already growing, just because for some reason this field always is behind. Which, I mean, I guess I shouldn't complain, just because of the fact that I think I started this field late anyway. So that might explain why it is starting late, but still, I would like it to grow in time with the other two fields, so I don't have to, speed up time after getting the first two fields finished. So anyway, I think let me go over here and show you some of the trees now. Since it is daytime, you can see some of the trees over here that are chopped down, like that one, and this one is this tree that was right here in this area. Then there's this tree. Of course, these ones aren't really an issue. These ones aren't by fields, and they're not by anywhere that I need to modify or change like field type, but they would be nice to remove eventually. Now these ones, these are the ones I need to get out of the way as soon as possible. Just because I plan to extend out this field, and I want to do it in this video. But to be honest with you, I don't know if I will be able. I don't know if I'll be able to actually do it in this video or not. Now well, of course I'll do the tree work between camera rules, like between recording, not recordings, but like between part 1 and part 2 of these, because if I stop the recording, I divide it up into sections, and so if I ever say part 1 and part 2, it's not, you're not seeing part 1 and part 2. What you're seeing is you're seeing a whole video. It's just, for me, it's part 1 and part 2. Now, I might extend the field out this way. If I go out this way, I mean, it's kind of hilly, but it's not bad because of course I'm not going uphill. My vehicle is going to be on like really tilted, but still it's not going uphill, so I don't think it should be too much work for my harvester or my tractor or whatever's working at the field at the time. So I want to extend it out this way, of course, not by a whole lot. I don't want to go up the mountain and have my harvester roll down the mountain just because it went up toward near a 90-degree angle. But I want it to go up a little bit. Now this way, I plan to maybe take it out to here, maybe even further than that, because really we have all this space right here, and I'm thinking, if I have the trees gotten rid of, then there's nothing really stopping me from, making this field out like huge. And since it's my land, the game ain't going to stop me. And since I can get rid of any buildings I want that are on the land, obviously, it won't matter. Apart from that, and I wonder, can I get rid of this stuff? Because if I can, I would be happy to get rid of it. Just because, like I said, it is an eyesore on the farm. This is an ugly thing, and if you think this is what America looks like, I mean, you might be right in some places, but at the same time, if this was my farm, this would be all gotten rid of. I would have scrapped it all. I would have maybe gotten a little bit of money, not a whole lot, but still, take this out, get it scrapped, all the metal parts and stuff, all these pipes, which, are rusted up, so, they're kind of, I mean, they might have some use, but, definitely wouldn't carry water in them. Here, I want to actually go into my garage and go into leased vehicles. I want to return this. I want to return that, and I want to return my baler, just because they are kind of not really holding us down, because leasing them daily isn't a whole lot. It's just I would rather lease them when I need them. Now I think I have like up to like 20-something leases. I didn't know there was a limit on how much you can lease an item, or like a time limit. I don't know if there's a time limit or for how many things you can lease, but still, I didn't know that, and I should do more research on that before I start talking, because really, I might just be making no sense to you guys, because you guys have never ran into a limit for leasing. Okay, so I also have some things over here. One of the tree things is lease a tree stump remover, and that is so I can remove the tree stumps from over there. I mean, all across the farm. But if I want to extend out that field over there, I have to get rid of these stumps. So you know what? Let me go ahead and get in this tractor. Then I'll go ahead and purchase a tree stump remover. I'm guessing that would be in forestry machines. Okay, this is kind of aggravating. I'm guessing this is the machines for lumber. Now, if I go back here, or for forestry, if I go over here, maybe this is the actual stuff, like, is there, like, forestry stuff that I can put onto my tractor? Because I don't want to be buying big tools just to get rid of my stumps. Maybe in here. No, there has to be a place for them. Surely, right? Oh, forestry equipment. Okay. Alright, I felt dumb for a minute. I was like, why am I having issues finding this? Alright. Now this is what I'm looking for, because this removes tree stumps. Now, I don't know why you would ever well, okay, look, I can see why you'd buy this, if you have forestry, but I don't understand why you would buy this thing all the way back here. Let me get to it. I don't understand why you would buy this. I mean, no offense to whoever created it, but, I mean, maybe if you have a bunch of trees in a row or something, maybe, but I don't really see much of a purpose to actually ever use this, because, usually you're cutting down one tree stump at a time. You're not cutting down, like, 2, 4, 5 tree stumps all at once. I mean, but, all's to your own. If you want to go ahead and do that, be my guest. But let me go ahead and go get that tree stump remover, and let's go ahead and use that tool. Because, I want to actually extend out this field right now in this video, in the part 1. Like I said, if I ever used the part 1 term, or part 2 as a term, I'm referring to the amount of times I had to stop the recording, because let's say I know there's going to be a long moment of silence in that video. It's like, why would I cut out a 20-minute silence when I could just stop the recording, then come back in when I want to talk? Unless, of course, if I'm playing a game that something interesting could happen at any moment. But since I'm only playing Farming Simulator, no offense, that there's not going to be much interesting that happens off a camera. I mean, there's been some things, but really, the majority of the game is really, like, pretty realistic. Now, maybe if I'm messing with animals or something, yeah, I've seen some weird stuff. Like, I've seen sheep just start floating for no reason. But, that's about it. So, let me go ahead and get this tree stumper, and I'll go ahead and come back. Here we are. This tree stumper is going to be so convenient, I swear. I mean, of course, you really can't plow when there's a huge stumps kind of in a way. So, of course, let me get back to the farm, and I'll go ahead and remove the stumps, and we can go ahead and start plowing. Okay, I've absolutely destroyed this road on the way up, and now I am paying for the consequences of destroying it as I'm heading back. Jesus, that harvester definitely is getting the work done. All right, it looks like he's full. I didn't notice that I did not see the notification for it, so kind kind of didn't get it because, I didn't know I needed to. This field is officially so big that the harvester has to actually stop. And before, like, maybe the harvester would fill up maybe 3/4 of the way, but now it becomes completely full, and there's still just a hair left over. Well, it's only going to get bigger from here, buddy, so you're going to have a lot more work to do now. And we'll change the way the the way the tools have to actually run. You know how we're running them this way? Instead, we're going to be running them this way, just because we want them to run the longest way as possible, so they have less turnings and less rows to do. Okay, so this should be after they get done. I'll go ahead and start getting done on stumps. How much do we have? How much grain do we have? How much money can we make from that grain? Let me go ahead and move my vehicle out of the way, just because I always tend to put my vehicles in the worst positions. Makes things harder on me. Okay, it looks like back here, either we're having some issues with land or trees, and it looks like we're having issues with land. Now, look, if I didn't put that silo there, I could have moved that over somewhere else, and we could have had this field really big. But, I didn't, so that's fine. That's why we cleared this area out back here. Now, my issue with these is I don't know where the tree stumps are. I don't know where all the tree stumps are for this area. I mean, you can see some of them, but, like, you can't obviously see them all. So, this might take me a while. I mean, or this could happen really fast. It just depends on whether, if I have to get this tree stump remover from the shed after I realize I just ran over a stump. Okay, I think that's all of them. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's all. Okay. Well, time to move that out of the way. Actually, no. Let's go ahead and move this over to the shed. Then we go ahead and use this tractor to move the plow. Instead of, switching tractors, why not just use the one why not use the one that we're currently using, right? Okay, now let's not put it over here just because this is where our sour goes. Back in here. Then hit that. There we go. Now, let me go ahead and get, I think the red one is the plow? I'm not sure. I think the yellow one is the one we bought. We're leasing the red one. Okay. So this one right here. Alright, no, that one, the red one is the one we bought. And the yellow one is our leased plow. Let me go back in, and once I get done using this, of course, I'll be returning it. Then, I won't have to use it until I have to start plowing fields again. Which, obviously, won't be too long from now. I mean, I might as well actually just buy one, just for how often I'll have to actually use it. Just because each field has a different cycle, so, like, I could plow all of the fields all at once, but like, they're bound to get out of cycle with one another, because they don't have perfect clocks. Field 26, the one I'm at right now, is a good example. But anywho, firstly, I just want to say sorry if sounds like I'm out of breath. I just ran. But either way, let's go ahead and start making our new addition to our field. Of course, I don't want to go too big, just because then obviously, then the worker starts cutting out. which, you know, isn't good at all. Or not cutting out, but it's like, why is it doing that? I don't like that. Okay, let's lift it then. Let's go over here on this side. But anyway, our worker, won't get the field entirely. They'll get like just a little bit, like they'll leave just this little bit of grain left, or like you know, maybe if the tool won't go all the way, they'll back up early. So then there's just a whole bunch of leftover stuff that's unnecessary. There we go, much better. Now let's raise it. Then let's go on the other side, and do it on that side too. Because right now we're just getting our frame in. But once we get these frames in, then we should be fine to just go out. Now, I want to be careful with this, just because I don't know how long the other side is, like, you know, measurement wise. So I'll be doing this just by my eye. Yeah, I might have to cut that tree, just because my I feel like my sower is going to have some issues with that. You know. We're kind of struggling to get over this hill. There we go. I think this is about our limit. If we go over it, it's not too bad, but still, you know, I'd rather not go over the limit. I am going to have to remove that tree, though, just because of our tools and the possibility of our tools getting clipped. I don't want to, you know, have to always keep unclipping those tools from, you know, from trees, because then it, you know, then it requires me to go over and fix it, and that prevents me from doing, you know, important things such as selling grain, you know, slows production down by a lot. Okay, this was actually not too bad. Okay, thought we went over it. All right, now. We are free to go, not ham, but we are free to just, you know, start going like this to the entire field. And, you know, we can't go out of bounds because the bounds are already pre-placed. It's like coloring next to the line first. So when you start going ham on the inside of the, you know, let's say picture, you won't, you know, go outside of the lines because you stopped earlier than, you don't stop right at the line, you stop right at the color mark where you know, you marked off. Because you were careful in the start, so you could be careless toward the end. Now, of course, I'm trying to do this, like, you know, decent, so you know, so I can actually, so I don't have to spend the entire video doing this. But, you know, like, if I was to make any mistakes, I hate that tree. It's right in the way, like, of my third-person view. Alright. Well, I'll be happy to cut that baby down real fast. I'll be happy to sell it, just because it's out of the way. And it's money. I don't say lose to this yet. Chopping trees. Why can't I moving forward? Am I caught on something? Okay. Oh, very tiny tree stump. Okay. See, and this is what I was talking about a few minutes ago. Is the issue with if I miss one stump, this slows down my time. So, you know, I really can't do anything about it until, or I mean, I can't, you know, continue plowing until I get that handled. So, you know, let's go ahead and use the other tractor and handle it right now. At first, I was thinking, it's a tree stump. Then, when I didn't see a huge tree stump, I was thinking, well, maybe it wasn't a tree stump. It was just some weird ground glitch. Then I went over it again, and I realized, this has to be a glitch. I mean, this has to be wood. This has to be a stump. And my assumptions was correct. Correct. Now, since we already have the second tractor out, I might as well just leave it here in case if there's another one. Because, you know, I'm not perfect, so I might have missed a few. But if you see this right here, my addition. Now, if I owned that land back there, firstly, that's those trees are the proper trees for forestry. And secondly, I could modify the terrain and basically make this like, dip where the trail is. I could turn that into normal land, like flat land. So when my workers have to turn around, they don't have to stop short and leave like let's say some part of my field undone. Because if you know anything about the farming simulator AI, it's like if there's a building or a tree too close to the field, the workers are happy to not get the job completely finished. And that's just mostly due to, like, if they were to go any further, they would crash into it, or it would be really difficult for them to recover. And since giants, they haven't perfected it. Obviously, they decided to put that thing in there just so we wouldn't have to fix them every few minutes. But of course, this ain't a perfect field, and I might continue to let the workers go longwise, or well, the former longwise, like the way I'm going right now, just because there's a less chance of getting stuck down in the dip. Now over on this side though, there's a huge hill, then there's a huge dip. So really, I don't know what I'm going to do. All I know is either way, I feel like the workers are going to have an issue with it. But we can only find out once we actually put a worker to the job. And of course, maybe the harvester will work fine on the field, but the sower might have some issues. It just all depends. Now, see, look, to be honest with you, I didn't think I would get this done on camera, just for how slow things can get. But I'm not really being too bad with time right now. I'm getting some things done. Okay, so as I finish this up, I want to actually go over a exploit, if you want to call it that I found in the game. When you buy land, you can sell that land. When you go to sell that land, the value in the land doesn't go down, or as far as I know. So if you was to buy land with harvest on it, let's say a full harvest, right? Then you was to collect the harvest. When you sell the land, the value of the land don't go down at all. So when you buy the land, you can harvest it and sell the land back, you get your money back, plus you also have all this harvest. And now, you might say, well, if you don't have the money for it, well, take out a loan. It just depends on how big the field is and what you're exactly looking for. For example, if let's say canola is big and there's a canola field somewhere, if I wanted to, I could buy the land, take the harvest, right? Then sell the land back. I don't lose any money in land at all, and I also don't. And I also gain harvest or crop, which I can sell because obviously, when I collected it, it was my land. Now, in a sense, I shouldn't do that, but at the same time, they put it in the game, and I want to try it just to see if it's still a thing. Because sometimes Giants does like to actually, fix those bugs and those exploits and those things, so you can only be realistic. Okay, so let me go ahead and move our sower over here, because this guy's done. It's time to go. Now that adds so much more field over here. It's basically adding 50 more percent to what it was earlier before the video. I love that. Now all we have to do is handle those trees, then we can fix that land, that field, and make it bigger. Maybe in the next episode. I mean, if I do it off camera, don't be surprised. It's just sometimes I get bored and I, don't want to wait to do something on camera. Such as tree chopping. There we go. Now, I think I think we are officially done with that. Now, okay. Alright, let's go ahead and just dump what's left in the harvester into our tipper. Because, of course, you know, I don't want to leave it in there. Just to, you know, have a little bit of grain in the silo. Not, you know, I don't want to be driving it out somewhere if it's only going to give me like $200 or something. You know, that would just pay for the gas. Here we go. I forgot to do baling. I forgot to actually turn on my straw swath or turn it off or disable it. I forgot to, so I wasn't able to convert the loose straw into any valuable hay. But I mean, we still got crop, which is pretty good. And let's go over here and let's start. I just want to see how well the worker handles the edge back there. Okay, so let's get in here and start driving. Okay, it's going. You know, registers it as field, of course, you know, like it should. Now, this is where I'm concerned. I feel like this is where it's going to have some issues. Not exactly, you know, that, but more of like, how is it going to do when backing up? Is it going to get stuck, or is it just going to take longer? Will it get caught on a tree back there? Because this thing loves that turn, like, long-wise. It doesn't like backing up unless if it absolutely has to. Now, there you go. The suspension on here is pretty good. So, you know, it can handle the awful terrain of my land, my property. There we go. Looks just fine. Now, this will take a while. Now, I don't know how it's going to handle this down here, because this is going to be a nuisance, but surely the worker can definitely get past it. Now, that tree might be an issue. I plan to cut that tree down, and possibly this tree. Now, these are your trees that you would find in forestry. While the trees I've been cutting down and, you know, and the bits and stuff, those are definitely not your forestry trees. I mean, they could be, but, you know, they're harder to deal with, and you can't use, let's say, the Scorpion King on them. You would have, and that's why they have the chainsaws. Is because if you want to deal with those kinds of trees, you know, Scorpion can't do anything about it. Okay, so let's. Ooh, we're getting caught. Come on, don't get caught now. All right. Oof. I'm going the wrong direction. Although, like, today is not my day for gaming. It might be my day for speaking, kinda, but it is not my day for gaming. There we go. Let's move it forward just a bit more. There we go. Alright. Perfect. Now, of course, has to save. Then I want to go ahead and actually find the best deal, you know, the best value for my crop. Then I want to drive up there, up to that place and sell it. Because I like money. I mean, who don't, right? Okay. I think that's at the Central Grain Elevator. That's not actually terribly far from here. So let's go over here and collect our grain. Then, of course, I want to at least sell one tipper full before the end of this video. So let me go ahead and look at that. Alright. This will only take 2 tipperfuls, but I'm only going to sell 1 tipper full on camera. Then, you know, of course, you'll see how much money I have in the next episode if I don't do anything off camera, and don't be surprised if I don't. Or if I do anything off camera, then it will most likely be just getting those trees off the farm. You know, I'm considering getting a tractor that has a front loader attacher, so I can pick up those trees and just push them into the river. Because honestly, you know, not to sound like I hate trees, but me chopping trees, putting them inside the tipper is getting kind of old and really annoying, and it's really slow. and only to get $5,000 for it, I really don't find like I don't think it's worth it, at least. I mean, I might go ahead and just hold on and just keep my sanity, and chop the trees down and just deal with it. But I might just go ahead and just throw them off into the lake, because they're out of sight, they're out of mind, and it doesn't matter whether they're sold or not. I just want the trees out of the way. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a checkup on that exploit I was talking about earlier. Mostly just because I don't want to waste money just to find out that my plan of getting money back, plus also getting the harvest, doesn't work. Because if, let's say, if the land is valued at 200,000, then and there's a harvest on it, I collect the harvest. Hypothetically, I'm supposed to sell the land for $200,000, just like I the exact same price I bought it, regardless of what fruit type was there or what stage it was at. I should be able to get money from. I should get the same amount of money, because I'm only buying the land. I ain't buying. I guess in a sense, I am buying what's on the land, but I'm not. It doesn't register me buying the land or buying what's on the land. So, hopefully Giants didn't correct it, because if they fixed that, then obviously, then I'm going to be down some money. But I do know that the work exploit, where I harvest someone's field, and once the task's done, how much of it I sell, that exploit, now that one should be fixed, to be honest, just because it's like I'm getting almost as much money from that grain as I am for the job itself. So I'm almost doubling. I could almost, triple my money if I tried hard enough. And, if I had a huge tipper that would hold all the grain, and they would just go through the field, they would go through all the field work, and that's worth, let's say, 80 to 90% of the work. Then I start selling the grain. When you sell the grain, your percentage goes up. Now, let's say only selling, maybe 10 liters of that total grain, completes the job. Then now I have, let's say, 90% of that grain left that I can sell for myself. It's weird to think about, but it makes sense if you was to really do it yourself. And you can only do this in FS 19. You can't do it in 17. They were like you couldn't transport grain for anyone. You could only run the harvester, and the harvester never got full. It just acted like as if it increased, and storage. All right, here we are. We can see how much money we're making. Let me look up here. Okay, 14,000. Not bad at all. Alright, so, that's what I wanted to do on camera. Now, while I'm off camera, I might do some work. Like, for example, this right here. This is a decently paying job. This is cotton. So, if, let's say, I was to what's field 11? Okay. If, let's say, if I was to do that field, then obviously I would get the whole field done, then start selling the harvest. And I might show you that in the next video, because of course I don't want to be, trying to do it at the last minute, just because usually people by this time have clicked off. They've clicked off my video in the first 30 seconds, so I know no one's watching this part. But if you are, let me know, because then I won't feel so lonely. Alright, well anyway, my name is Jeremiah Mayle. I want to say thank you for watching this video. If you have any ideas of what games I should play, or what I should do in this game, or Minecraft, or anything, like I said, then let me know down in the comments below. Um, yeah, I got nothing. I just want to say thanks for watching the video, and have a fantastic day.